Hey guys, today's video is about what my friends think of mental health and what their opinion is. Before we get into it, I'll explain. So, I sent six of my friends, six of my close mates, some questions, all the same questions. There was five questions, and just to see what their opinions was. I asked each of them if I could do it in the video. They all said yes. So, we'll start. So, question one is, what does mental health mean to you? I'm going to start with my mate Paris. Paris replied to that question, honestly, I have no idea. It's just kind of something that there in someone's life, and it can be a nuisance, but you just deal with it. This is people's opinions of mental health, and I'm not going to say you're wrong sort of thing, because that's people's opinion. They're entitled to their own opinion. I probably wouldn't have worded it quite like that. I mean, yes, people don't exactly. Sorry about that. So people don't exactly choose to have it. It's just something that happens. I probably wouldn't have worded it quite like that. But that is what I would have gone along the same lines as well. Question two was, in your opinion, is it best for people to talk about it? And if so, who to? Paris replied, to me, talking about it during the moment makes me feel better about myself, and it's nice, but after it hits me that I've actually told them how I feel, I regret it and wish I never told them. That's interesting, because for me it's a complete opposite way round. I don't want to tell anybody, I want to deal with it on my own sort of thing. But then once I have told somebody, I feel good because it's out in the open, and then it's not stuck inside me all the time. Question three. What do you think is the best way for someone to deal with it? So Paris said, I have no idea. It's personal. I know most people like talking about it, but I prefer to deal with it myself. It's not working great very well. So again, that's just like question two. That's the complete opposite for me. I prefer to talk about it and get it out in the open, as opposed to just keeping it inside me, because I know if I keep it inside me, it's going to build up and get worse. I'm whizzing through these because time's a bit of limit at the moment. Question four is there any advice you would give to people who are dealing with it? And Paris replied, people deal with it differently, and I'm not good at advice on this subject, but personally, just forget about it and move on. Again, I'll repeat this again, I'm not here to criticise anybody's opinion. That's not what I'm doing. I asked my close friends their opinions of it to see what their opinions was of mental health is. People do deal with it differently. That's, I completely agree with that 100%. For Paris, she forgets about it and moves on. That's her way of dealing with it. Everyone has different ways. I know some people would prefer to just get out in the open. Some people want to hold it inside and try and deal with it on their own. Some people want to just pretend it's not there and move on. And they're all, completely valid and everything. My preferred option is talking about it and getting it out in the open. Hence why I'm doing these videos. Question five was a tough one, and everyone seemed to struggle to answer it. The question was, do you think everyone deals with it to a certain extent, and do you think everyone has some type of mental health condition? This was the longest answer from everyone by far. Paris said, I don't know, I'm not a therapist, I can't go around diagnosing people. No, for real, I believe the majority of people don't have mental health and are fine, but there's always that group that do, and I think it's good to experiment with ways to cope. Like when people go to a therapist or a counsellor, and I absolutely hated it. I cried all night because I regretted going. I felt so awkward when my mum was when being there, but my mum absolutely loves counselling and therapists and stuff, so it's preference. So people, some people choose to have a therapist or a counsellor. I know I had a counsellor when I was in year 6 I had a counsellor, when I was in year 9 I had a counsellor, and this year I've had a counsellor as well at school. And it's just it's like preference, like Paris said. I've never had a therapist as such, but I have had counsellors. I've seen CAMHS workers. I have a CAMHS referral as well. That's happening in a couple of months. But again, like Paris, I don't believe that everyone has a mental health condition. I feel that if you think about it so much, you will, in a way, is trying to make this as nice as possible, you will make yourself have one because you'll be constantly worrying about it. But I don't think many people are thinking, oh yeah, I've got a mental health condition and stuff. Like, this is my way of dealing with it, and this is how I'm showing it. So the next person I messaged was my friend Lucy, who sent me that lovely message I read out in the last video. So exactly same questions. So for number 1, she replied, mental health is a part of everyone's life. Having a mental illness or condition is different. To me, mental health is important. It helps to control your life, control how you live your life. Knowing that you have depression and anxiety can be difficult sometimes when you are particularly struggling. It worries me, but knowing you're receiving help, it's great. So it's so nice having a friend who constantly checks in on you, sort of thing. Some people might think, oh god, so and so's messaging me again, and they won't leave me alone. But for me, that's the best way. I love having my friends I can talk to about it, like my mental health, and it really helps. Answer 2. In my opinion, it is always better for people to put anything they need help with out there. You should talk to people who can help you with the illness itself, and then also with people who can support you. You should tell those who you are comfortable with telling. So obviously I made quite a lot of my teachers aware, I made my friends aware, I made my family aware. The first ever video I posted on this channel I put on Facebook a couple of months ago. It got nearly 400 views, loads and loads of shares. I think my camera's about to tip. And loads of comments, and just knowing that just made me feel a lot better about it, because I'd informed everybody in a way that I was comfortable with. So I wouldn't go up to somebody and say face to face, oh, I've got depression, oh, I've got anxiety. I wouldn't do that. But to do it like that helped me a lot. Answer 3 is mental illness should be treated in the same manner as any physical illness or injury. It should not be ignored and should receive ongoing treatment. Talking to people who can help you is very important, and coping mechanisms can also be very helpful. Everyone has their own way of dealing with things. You just need to find the right ones that work for you. So I think that's important. Everyone has their own ways of dealing with things, and it's just finding the right coping strategy for you. And it's all about finding what how you want to cope and stuff. So I've got a load of messages coming through now. I've also got a missed video. Cool. And I just think, you just got to find the right way for you, and if that's to have a coping mechanism, then that's the way you deal with it. So I got really distracted there, I had a load of messages. Okay, the answer to question 4 was, I would advise to speak up, don't suffer in silence, and talk to anybody who makes you feel safe and loved, which is why I went to my friends. I went straight to my friends, I went straight to my family, I went straight to the teachers. The teachers care about me. My friends both love me as a friend, obviously, and care about me. My family love me and care about me. I went straight to those people because I felt they were the people who needed to know most. I'm not going to go up to a random stranger and be like, oh look, I've got a mental health condition. That's just not how I want to do it. If other people want to go around, sort of saying that, then I completely understand them, because they'd want other people to be aware just in case something happened. And then question 5 was, the answer to question 5 was, everyone has mental health just like everyone has their physical health. It is a state of well-being. Some people have good mental health and others have conditions as a result of poor mental well-being. I wouldn't say that everyone has a mental health condition. You can get nervous or be shy but not have anxiety, and you can get sad but not be depressed, as you have mentioned in your previous video. So that is, I completely agree with that. Like I said when reading Paris's question 5, I don't think everyone has their mental health, and if you treat it right, it will stay well as such. But if you treat it poorly, it will get poorly as such. The next person is my friend Charlie. Charlie, as I mentioned in the video yesterday, he's incredible. I love Charlie. He's great. So I sent him the answers, the questions, and he replied for number 1. To me, mental health is so shit. It hasn't done me any good, and I'll literally do anything to get rid of it for anyone. But if I was going to explain mental health to someone, I'd just say it's things like depression and anxiety that get in the way of your day-to-day life. I 100% agree with that. It does get in the way of your day-to-day life, 100%. It's never done anything good for my day-to-day life as such, but then recently it hasn't done anything bad for it either. At the moment, I wouldn't really recognise that I had one because of the place I'm in right now. But if you take back 2 or 3 weeks, you'd have been really noticeable. The answer to question 2, I think speaking to someone is the best thing to do. The quicker I speak to someone, the less damage it's going to do. If you leave it all to yourself, and it's just going to build and build until you can't take it anymore. And that's what I was saying earlier. So if you just keep it inside, it's just going to build up, and it's just eventually you're going to be so full of it, sort of thing, full of all these negative thoughts that you're not going to know how to let them go. And that's really important as well. So I think talking to somebody is the best way. Question 3, people cope with it in different ways and are affected by it in different ways. So some ways of dealing with it won't work for certain people. For me, I find things to distract myself from thinking about it. So music, sports, TV, school, etc. And then just talking to someone about it. And that's come up a lot in everyone's answers, is talking to somebody about it. If you talk about it and get your feelings out, it will, for me and quite a lot of other people looking at it, it does help. Some people do prefer to keep it in, like Paris, and that is 100% fine. I see where those people are coming from because they might not want people to think differently of them. But at the same time, for me, it is better to get it out. Question 4, my best advice is to talk about it to anyone. It doesn't have to be a parent or an adult, it can be a friend. But honestly, I've felt so much better once I have spoke to somebody, because you've just got so much weight off your shoulders, and then there's one thing less to worry about. And yes, it's going to be it's still going to be there, but the more you talk about it, the more help you can get, and the less damage it's going to cause. And I do believe that as well. If you keep it inside, it's going to damage you, not physically damage you, but mentally it's going to damage you a lot, I feel. Again, if you talk about it, it will make it better. It will take the weight off your shoulders, and it's going to make it better. And then question 5, people can have the same mental health issues, but people wouldn't have it worse than others, and not exactly everyone will feel the same as you. Some people have it so bad they won't leave their house or their bedroom, but some people only have it affect their day-to-day mood, and that's fine. Everyone is different, but you've got to find what's right for you. Music will help with some people, whereas it won't for others, and some people will cope with it better than others. Some people hide all the pain, and you will think everything is fine with them until it's got too much for them, and they're not there anymore. We all just need to look out for each other. And I 100% agree with this as well. It's so nice when I can talk to my friends who might suffer from mental health as well. It's so nice to be able to talk to them about it, because it just shows that I can relate to them and they can relate to me. Okay, so next one. Okay, so I sent it to my friend Jake, and the answer to question 1 for him was, your health isn't controllable. And although it's a short answer, I 100% agree with that. You can't control your mental health. You can't wake up one day and say you want it gone and it be gone. You can't wake up one day and say you wanted it and then have it. I doubt anybody's going to say they want a mental health condition, but it's like you can't just wake up one day and decide you don't want it anymore, because that's not going to help. That's not going to happen. You can't just decide one day that you don't want it. The answer to question 2 was, yes, and people who you trust and care about. So that question was, is it best for people to talk? I agree with Jake. You should talk about it, but to people you trust and care about. The answer to question 3 was talk to your loved ones. So, like I said, I spoke to my family about it, I spoke to my friends about it, they're all really supportive. Question 4, stay strong, everything will get better. And that is 100% true. If you stay strong and you keep a positive mind and think positive things all the time instead of focusing on the negative, it will get better. And question 5, he just said yes. He does think everyone has it to a certain extent. And that is really what I think as well. Sort of anyway. Like, I don't think everyone has mental health, like a mental health condition, but I do think that people who do have it will deal with it to a certain extent. I'll have to do a part 2 of this because some people haven't answered all the questions yet because other people got things to do, which is completely understandable. So if you enjoyed this video, obviously like it. If you want to answer these questions, then DM me on Instagram, either comment down below and I'll somehow message you, or find me on Snapchat and I will send you the questions. If you have any video ideas, please either comment them down below or message me on social media. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you all next time. Bye.